Thanks so much for joining me today, Corey. And the introduction of the Celestron Origin Intelligent Home Observatory is one of the biggest technological developments in telescope engineering in many years. Could you talk a little bit about the product and how it came about?
Sure, absolutely. So first time for me, right, looking at galaxy and the dark skies, that was quite experience. Just thinking back many years ago, I mean, I was working on, you may remember, the Ultima 2000.
Sure.
Right, one of the first samples, one of the first prototypes that we put together. A few of us actually have to drive out to the desert, right, middle of nowhere, two,
Yeah.
3 hours away from Los Angeles, under really dark skies. We were just testing that. At that time, I was a younger engineer, just got into the business.
Yeah.
First time look at the Whirlpool galaxy under dark skies, and I thought, oh wow, that was amazing.
That's a
That
good
was amazing.
object to shoot, to go after for galaxies. Yeah.
Right, right. I mean, I never thought. I grew up in the city and can see skies and all that, but it was all the light pollution. Never thought I could see or never seen anything like the galaxy. So that has always stayed with me. The fact that how amazing a galaxy is. You can see all the spiral arms and all that. I thought that was awesome. So I've always wanted to make that something that is easier, right? Make that the viewing experience, to make that easier for everybody to experience too.
Yes.
And right, I mean, so not necessarily you have to pack up everything, drive out to the middle of nowhere, bring all your gears, and then, okay, just to, in some ways, at that time, all we could see is just a smudge, but that was amazing already, right? But with technology, with digital camera and how technology with digital camera progresses, and the camera's getting more sensitive and all that, we realize, viewing really faint objects can be or will become easier over time, right? And at that time too, we're still working on a lot of technology, a lot of different ways to make aligning telescopes or using telescopes much easier, right? If you combine what we're working on along with the development of these digital cameras, we thought one day we will get there, right? One day we'll make this viewing experience much easier for everybody. And since that time, we have developed the StarSense auto align technology.
Yes.
Right. So that by itself automates a lot of the processes that is needed to align the telescopes and just get a user going. And so it's a big part of the automation. We will on the verge of getting there at that time. But so combine that with the advancements in CCD and CMOS sensors, it was becoming increasingly clear to us that's where things are going. So interesting fact, through the years, the project that turned out to be Origin had taken on different project names, but it all started with the name of an eyepiece-less telescope. At that time, right, just everything that we just talked about right now, just using a camera with a very sensitive sensor can, a lot more sensitive than your eye, we potentially can allow you to see a lot fainter objects. So the initial concept is really to allow us to see some of the most interesting fainter objects in the sky. So that's how it all started, just with that vision. and go on and on. But at that time, we didn't have we didn't have everything that we needed, right? All the different technology that was needed to put it all together. Um, but it's been quite a few years. We had to work on a bunch of technology to enable this to come together.
And this is really the crescendo moment in our time of a revolution that has been going on for a long time. Because as you said, the challenges exist for absolute newcomers to set up a telescope, to understand it, to align it, to have it all perfectly set up. And this technology also is running hand in hand with astro imaging becoming easier in the last few years here. And this telescope effectively takes a lot of the encroaching light pollution problem out of the equation too. So this really makes the experience of getting into discovering the universe much easier in multiple ways than it ever has been before, doesn't it?
You absolutely right, and that's actually what we've been aiming to do, right? We've been wanting since the beginning of Celestron, we've been wanting to make the hobby easier for everybody, make it more accessible for everybody. Yeah, if we go way back to when Tom Johnson started the company, and he
Yes.
created, right? He found a way to mass produce Schmidt correctors, right? I mean, that by itself made a hobby more popular simply because all of a sudden there's a high quality telescopes that that's people can buy. It's compact, it's easy to use, and that kind of started Celestron, right? And ever since then, we have stayed with that vision. We wanted to make the hobby easier. Therefore, you've seen some of the computerized telescopes that we have launched through the years, and different technology, including star sense, auto align technology that makes the hobby easier. So people just you don't need to know the sky, right? I mean, so to make it to just view objects in the sky. So just staying on that path, we wanted to make it easier for people. Okay, well, now you can find, let's say, the Whirlpool galaxy, but we want to make it easier for people actually to see it, to see more details of it, to see the spiral arms within the Whirlpool galaxy.
Yes.
So traditionally it's a little bit harder to do. You have to lug a lot of stuff out to dark skies, but we wanted to make it easier with all the technology that we have put together to allow you to see all that, right? So
And
some of the pieces. Yep, go ahead, Dave.
I'm sorry. I was just going to interject quickly. And you've really brought several of these technologies that have been edging toward perfection together all in one package. Not only do you have easy alignment and setup, which for someone who knows nothing about observing in the hobby can be intimidating a little bit at first, and not only do we have easy imaging now and a telescope that diminishes the requirement to be in a purely absolutely dark sky, but we have a telescope that once it's set up will find anything very easily at the push of a button as well, which is a huge deal. The go-to technology as well for people. As you said, you don't need to become an expert and learn where the constellation Lacerta is or whatever obscure part of the sky. This does the whole process as easily as you could ever have dreamed of a generation ago.
That is absolutely right, right, and that's kind of been our goal, but at the same time, we want. Okay, so let me say, it's been our goal to make it easier for everybody to look at fake objects in the sky, but also at the same time as we put together this system, we realize that what we have is actually a serious astrophotography device, right? And we have a system that uses RASA optical system, which is something that is, is really fast with large aperture. Is embraced by sky surveillance crowd. We got institutions and agencies using that to help to keep our satellites safe, right? So, and little did we know that it will be embraced by that crowd when we put this together. Just speaking of RASA, this is something that initially the intention of developing a RASA was really for the Origin, and we did not. So we wanted, when we conceptualized the whole idea of what turned out to be the Origin, was wanted to have a system that will give people a viewing experience that's as close to real time as possible, right? I talked a lot about viewing the night sky. With astrophotography, if you take long enough exposures, you can see a lot of details. With proper image processing, you can see a lot of details, but it may take you a little bit of time, right? With the traditional way of doing it is you spend hours collecting data, and then you go back to your home, spend the next 2 nights processing the images, and you get some really nice results at the end of it. But we wanted to make something that is as real time as possible, right? And then necessitate a faster optical system. And we don't necessarily want to say, here's a automatic system that allow you to see deep sky objects, but then turn it on, get it going, but then you sit there and twirl your thumb for like 20 minutes before you see anything. So that was one of our requirements that when we first jumped into this project, and really a fast optical system. And therefore we started trying to look for different ways, right? Well, what is available right now? And obviously Celestron, we have what we call at that time earlier, a fast star technology, right? Really just utilizing our Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope with fast star optical accessory, and Arizona is taking a step further, creating their hyperstar accessory, which enable our Schmidt-Cassegrain system turn into a really fast optical system. So part of that was really it's almost like a proof of concept, what we wanted to work on. And we take that and started thinking about internally, what are some of the things that we can do? Can we come up with an optical system that maybe doesn't require a Schmidt corrector? And we looked at different optical design, but it turns out that RASA, with the Schmidt corrector, it then enables you to put together a system, large aperture, fast focal ratio, easier than almost every other options that we have looked at. So with that said, we decided at that time, okay, well, we got to pursue this. We had to develop that optical system, fully integrated, and not necessarily using different pieces of accessories or anything like that. So we embarked on developing the RASA. At that time, we talked to different people. We enlisted the help of Dave Rowe, well known within the industry, and he helped to get us going. And he came up with an initial design. We looked at it and go, wow, this is great. And after that, we also enlisted help of Mark Ackerman. He helped us finish the optical design. So that became Rowe, Ackerman, Schmidt, Astrograph, RASA. So that was really came from the vision of trying to come up with a fast optical system that will work great, that will work well for the Origin type of product. And so that's how actually, it's interesting. We call our product is called the Origin, but that was a bit of an origin story for the RASA optical system.
Yes. And one thing, Corey, that excites me about the Origin is that it has a relatively large mirror for an imaging telescope of this type at 6 inches. And as you mentioned, also a very short focal ratio. It's f2.2. So this for deep sky lovers, for imagers wanting to capture their own image. And there's a special pride that we see with people who get into this hobby. And yes, people have taken images of the Orion Nebula and the Andromeda Galaxy for a long time and this and that, but the technology is getting better over time. And to capture your own images that you took of photons that traveled for 2.5 million light years, that feels special. And this field of view is nice and big with this instrument here. And so capturing star fields of nebulae, I think of a book that I just categorized this morning in my office, Barnard's Atlas of Dark Nebulae. This plays into, right, that kind of the large scale beauty of the universe is captured very, very well with a telescope of this scale, this so-called plate scale. So star fields of nebulae and galaxies are perfectly made for a system like this. It would be ideal, I think, for getting your feet into the imaging business for just about any amateur astronomer who wants to discover the cosmos.
You're absolutely right. For a fast optical system, it just makes imaging much easier, right? And also at the same time, we keep talking about how fast the optical system is. I mean, time is an important thing.
Yes.
It's an important thing in multiple ways. I mean, near real-time imaging allows the hobby to become more social, actually, right? So I'm not necessarily spending hours collecting data and then spending hours doing image processing. If everything can happen in real time, including data collection and image processing, right? That's part of the reason why we put together, we worked on, and the Origin has this AI image processing function that allows everything to be available real time. So if I take an image of, if I have the Origin looking at Orion Nebula, right? 5 minutes later, I can be looking at that on my tablet, as well as the friends I'm having with me. We can all be sharing the views. They can look at my tablet. They can be looking at the same Orion Nebula on their own device. So we, in a sense, we can have a local star party on in my living room, while my Origin is in the backyard. So it can be more of a social event, and I think this is important. It's important for this hobby to have an evolution, right, into something that is more social, not necessarily just with your friends next to you, but the fact that it's now on your mobile device, you can share with multiple people. And I can share my friends out in Hawaii, or my family out in Hawaii, and they can take a look at it and they can see, wow, this is what you observe in your backyard just tonight. So that's all part of the vision. That's all part of what we wanted to do.
And for so long, serious imaging has been a solitary activity that has pushed you away from other people. And so much pleasure in the hobby of amateur astronomy, as with most hobbies, comes from sharing that togetherness, of the excitement of what we know about the universe and what we're finding out about it together. And you're enabling this to happen in essentially real time, as you say, with images that go directly to a phone or a a tablet, if you will, in essentially real time with relatively short exposures too. So this really revolutionizes things in a human way as well as a technological way, which all simultaneously, which is pretty incredible.
That is part of our goal, right? We wanted to make sure that our tool, right, this Origin Intelligent Home Observatory, it can become a tool for you to learn the night sky, for you to actually bring your friends and families together as a social activity.
Mm-hmm.
It can help to create social activities among your friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
And also at the same time, right, this is a device that you don't, you, as a total beginner, you can use it very, very quickly. You don't need to know much about night sky or photography. You can turn it on and use it that very same night. But at the same time, because it's a serious instrument, it's got advanced features that will grow with you as you grow in your hobby, right? Features that, such as using astronomy filters. So
Yes.
it allows you to use standard astronomy filters. Features such as schedule imaging, right?
Yes.
You can schedule your imaging and what you want to what image you want to take that night. You can go to bed, and by tomorrow you can wake up. You can see the images on your in your file, right?
Yes.
And also at the same time, you have you have the ability to access all the raw files, so you can do your own processing. If image processing isn't your favorite activity, the Origin's AI image processing algorithm does a pretty fine job to allow you to see all the details.
Yes.
But at the same time, there's a lot of talented astro imagers out there, right? I mean, there's a lot of people really good at image processing.
Yes.
And if they want to do their own image processing, they can. They will have access to all the raw files, and they can have their own personal touch. But for somebody who doesn't want to deal with that, they don't have to. For somebody who wants to, and because they really want to get in a hobby, and they have the ability to basically use this as a serious astrophotography device.
Yes, which it has the capability and also that exciting wide field to do. And as you said, you can get a really nice image at the outset almost instantly, but you can also go crazy in Photoshop over coming hours and days if you want to customize your image processing as some of the more advanced image sky shooters would like to do. And another revolutionary point here is, back when I was young, long ago, there was an incredible servitude. It took forever not only to learn the shooting, and you had to serve, sort of an apprenticeship, getting to know all this and working out all the details and getting around all sorts of problems, which now are eliminated by this system. But you also had to put in a lot of time on the back end, because even in the last half generation or generation, the digital darkroom conventionally takes a lot of work and knowledge. So you can do that. You can become a Photoshop master now if you'd like to, but you get a nicely processed image right out of the gate, which is again unprecedented and hasn't happened up until now.
You're absolutely right, and that is part of the reason why we wanted to spend a lot. We spent considerable time and resource to develop that part of our system, the AI image processing algorithm that's built in.
Yes. Well, this is a huge moment for the hobby of astronomy. I think with this instrument rolling out. And congratulations, Corey, to you on this and the culmination of what has been a long journey of a lot of work of engineering and production.
It absolutely is. It's very exciting, right? Especially considering this is the vision that has been driving our product development and engineering efforts for years. We
Yes,
knew years ago this is what we have to bring to the market, but we didn't necessarily have all the different pieces of technology needed to put together yet at that time.
yes,
So to develop all that, we knew it was going to be tied up quite a bit of engineering resources, quite a bit of time. So we had our hopes and dreams, but we simply couldn't shut down all other new product developments for a few years just to develop the Origin. That wouldn't be good for our customers. It wouldn't be good for our dealers, and it wouldn't be good for for industry as a whole.
Yeah.
We didn't have that option, right? So we had to figure out how we can actually take on this big project while continuing to push out new innovative products as our customers have really come to expect from Celestron.
Yes.
So we chose a path where we identify each of the new pieces of technology needed, and we had to develop and acquire all the different new technology, basically one at a time.
Yeah.
And we launched new products with each one of those new technology or new acquired technology along the way. You can say many new innovative products were created because of our pursuit of the Origin vision.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, of course, we already have our StarSense out-of-line technology, but we still had to develop. Just to name a few, right? I mean, we talked about the RASA already, but we at the time too, we also have to develop the Wi-Fi enabled telescopes, which is the ability to control telescopes through a quality mobile device app, and that was essential to arrive at the Origin vision. It's just a couple other things like the motorized focusing and even dual control system. All that had to be developed, and for anybody who's followed Celestron product and new product introductions over the past few years, you could see that. Oh yeah, now it all makes sense.
Yes.
There was the RASA, there was the evolution, and there was the Celestron focus motor, and there was our dual control system just came out, over the past few years. All that, they were actually all developed just, with our eye looking at the Origin vision. So a little bit of a maybe inside story of how that all came about, all these different products.
We've seen some revolutionary pieces of the puzzle rear their head in other ways that were part of this master program that was going on for a long time. And we see all of those revolutions and technologies now coming together in the Origin at once.
Yeah, it's true. It's very exciting for us, as it's kind of like a grand finale in a way that defined a period of product development here in Celestron.
Yes.
And we're not done. There's many. A lot more new products coming in the future. But this marked a big milestone for us.
Well, this is huge because when you go to star parties and when you talk to people who are just discovering, oh yeah, we're so busy running around on this 2D surface of our planet, and there's this realization that's fantastic to see in people of, oh my God, I can go out there and I can see, objects in a telescope that are far away, and there are several 100 billion stars in this galaxy we're in, and there are 100 billion galaxies in the universe, and this light bulb goes on, and the realization of where we are on this planet and what it means to be alive and made of the stuff of the cosmos comes alive in people. And then they are addicted and they love this hobby. And I think this is taking that sense of realization and discovery and empowering people like never before with a telescope. And I think we're going to see a lot of people turned on to this hobby. And I can't wait to see some of the images that get produced over the coming months as well, because of your master vision and this product.
It would be incredibly gratifying for entire team here at Celestron if the Origin can actually enable a lot of people to embark on that journey, the journey that you just talked about.
I think it certainly will. I think we can say it's written in the stars.
That's a really good one, Dave.
Corey, where can people find out more about the Origin Observatory product?
So the best place to look for information right now is our own website, celestron.com. There are a lot of information on the product. It's, there's a lot in it, right? As well as there's some really well put together videos that explain what it is and also what it can do. So I will encourage anybody to go on celestron.com and just visit the Origin page.
Outstanding. Well, this is an historic moment, I think, in our hobby and the thing that we love. And I thank you so much, Corey, for joining me today and discussing this. I'm proud to be talking about it with you. And I think we're going to see a new phase of this hobby beginning because of your vision.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you for your time. And yes, we are very happy Celestron and Celestron's Origin can help to usher in this new phase of the hobby.
Thanks so much, Corey, and we will certainly follow up and be in touch and watch the exciting developments to come with it here.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.